So for quite some time now, people have been reaching out to me in the DM, on WhatsApp, on phone calls, asking whether it's normal for someone to use an external charge controller alongside his hybrid inverter. So I decided to make video. Some of the messages I actually didn't respond to them. So that was when I made video about hybrid and solar hybrid inverter, thinking some installers will get to understand that and some clients will understand that. But it's quite unfortunate that people are still reaching out to me, even up to date. So I decided to do this video in case you are planning to do solar, or you have somebody that someone somewhere is telling him to stop using the hybrid and buy an external charge controller. Then you need to watch this video and share this video with them. There is only one condition that will make you to get an external charge controller alongside your solar hybrid inverter. One of the conditions is you want to generate more power than what the hybrid inverter can handle. For example, if your inverter is 5 kVA and the charge controller is rated 4,500 watts, and you want to generate up to 9,000 watts, that is the only circumstance or situation where you need an external charge controller, because your hybrid inverter can only handle 4,500 watts. Then the extra 4,500 watts will be handled by the external charge controller. But aside this, I see no reason why you will stop using your hybrid inverter to get an external charge controller, because most of the people that reach out to me, most of the time we are like, they bought a hybrid inverter, but the installers ask them to get an external charge controller because, I don't know, the installers will just give them weird reasons. So aside this condition I just listed, in no circumstance you should pay any installer to get an external charge controller for your hybrid inverter, because the reasons why some installer will ask you to get an external charge controller, to me, which I feel like is the reason, one is either they don't know how to use solar hybrid inverter or hybrid inverter, and that's why they're asking you to get an external charge controller. Two is either you don't pay that installer very well and he wants to use that opportunity to extort you. These are the two reasons. But aside this, and the condition which I just stated, you don't need an external charge controller. Your hybrid is okay. Your hybrid came with that charge controller you are going to buy. Yes, so I'll be showing you my own 3.5 kVA horse-strom inverter, which came with an inbuilt charge controller of 100 amps. Though I noticed that some of the hybrid inverter, solar hybrid inverter, their inbuilt charge controller are small. But this one I'm using in my house, the inbuilt charge controller is very large. It's a 3.5 kVA. For example, if you have a 3.5 kVA and you are able to generate 4,500 watts PV power, there is nothing you will apply on that 3.5 kVA that will be more than 3,000 watts. Yes, except you have a very large battery bank. That's when you still need an external charge controller, which I just stated. That is the only condition. So I'll be showing you my own 3.5 kVA horse-strom. This horse-strom is, it came with a very large inbuilt charge controller up to 100 amps. So let's check it out. So here's my own 3.5 kVA horse-strom inverter. Forget about the look. Never had time to arrange it very well. So let's take a look at the specification of this horse-strom inverter. You can see solar charger mode. The max power is 5,500 watts. Max charger current or charging current is 100 amps. Nominal operating voltage, which is some of the things installers don't pay attention to. Some of these things installers don't pay attention to them. Somebody will go and buy an external charge controller. He might do 2 series and the system will charge normal. Then when it comes to a solar hybrid, he will never pay attention to this. He will now go and do 2 series on this inverter. It will not work because the operating voltage range from 120 to 450 volts. So if you apply 2 series on this using maybe 500 watts, which you can only get maybe 80 something or 90 something volts, this inverter will not pick. Then some installer will end up telling you that the hybrid inverter is not okay. You have to get an external charge controller. The installer is about to extort you. Let him generate up to the nominal operating voltage and you are okay. So if you don't have large battery bank, you just have your normal battery bank, which is okay for a 3.5 kVA, which is okay for your load, then you don't need an external charge controller. Yes, so this 3.5, this horse-strom is rare. It's hard for you to get a 3.5 kVA with an inbuilt charge controller of 100 amps, because this can handle up to a 10 unit of 500 watts. Yes, so it's rare for most 3.5 kVA to do this. So whether an installer, always pay close attention to the inverter specification, because this is where most installers make mistakes and they end up telling you that your hybrid inverter is not okay, you have to get an external charge controller because he didn't pay attention to the specification. I think this have solved your problem or have solved your curiosity in either getting an external charge controller or not. To me, if you have hybrid, and the hybrid will be capable of handling the amount of solar PV you will generate, you don't need an external charge controller. So don't forget to share this update with your friend who is about to be extorted by an installer. Don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.